I am Kelly, and today we will be doing a little beginner's yoga practice for working on balance. So we will start in a standing position. We can take our feet directly underneath our hips. We'll bring our arms by our sides. We'll find what we call mountain pose, so palms are facing forward. We'll get a gentle lift through the crown of the head. We often walk around with our shoulders a bit hunched up, so let's purposely bring them all the way up to our ears and then gently let them drop down the back. We'll take a moment to arrive in this space. So I invite you to drop your awareness into your body and just notice what your body is feeling. Maybe you can notice your breath moving through your body. Maybe you can feel your heartbeat. Maybe you can feel sensations going on in your stomach if you've eaten any time recently. Maybe you notice the soles of your feet on your mat or the floor. Maybe you notice your clothing or the air on your skin. And then from here, we're going to have our very first balance challenge right off the bat. If it's comfortable, I invite you to close your eyes here. When we close our eyes, we lose our visual sense of awareness of where we are in space. And so sometimes we might notice a little gentle swaying of our body as our body is trying to recalibrate without its visual cues. If you notice any swaying, that's okay. If your swaying is a lot, maybe find a wall for a little bit of support. But otherwise, just observing how your body navigates having your eyes closed. And from here, we can blink our eyes back open, again, keeping our good mountain pose. And we'll start adding in some movement. So on our exhales, we're going to soften the knees, soften the shoulders, letting the head drop and hang. On the inhales, we're going to think about re-inflating ourselves. Shoulders open up, palms shine open, gaze might look towards the sky. Again, exhaling, letting everything soften and relax and droop. Inhaling to re-inflate, to open up, to lift. Take once more to soften. And once more to open. And then we'll find just a neutral standing position. And on the next inhale, we'll bring fingers straight up to the sky. So we're reaching through our feet. Our fingers are reaching. Nice tall spine here. On our next exhale, we'll fold forward. We might get a good bend in the knees. We might let our torso rest on our thighs. Our fingers might find the ground. We might have a block or a cushion to bring the ground closer to us. On our next inhale, we'll lift the spine halfway up. We'll press fingers into shins. We'll engage our back body here. And then on the next exhale, we'll fold forward. And then we'll inhale, coming to standing, reaching fingers up to the sky. And we'll exhale, hands to heart center. We'll pause here for a big inhale. And a slow exhale. And then we'll move with our breath. So inhaling, fingers to the sky. Exhaling to fold forward, back rounds, head hangs. Inhaling, lifting halfway up, flat back. Exhaling to refold. Inhaling, pressing through the feet to come back up to standing, fingers to the sky. And exhaling, hands to heart center. We'll pause here, big inhale. Slow exhale. And then inhaling, fingers to the sky. Exhaling to fold forward. Inhaling, halfway lift. Exhaling, planting our fingers, maybe bending our knees a lot to get our fingers on the ground. We're going to slide our right foot straight back, and we're going to lower that knee onto the ground. If we need cushion under the knee, a yoga blanket, if you've got one, a bath towel, any sort of blanket will work really well here. And then we're going to find our balance. So we're going to make sure our knee and our foot are on railroad tracks. They're not tight in line, but we've got space between them. And then we'll come up, fingers will reach up to the sky. While we're here, we're going to think about pressing through that right knee and the right foot, pressing through the left foot. So we've got a nice strong base in our lunge here. We'll take a couple of breaths here. Then we're going to add a little side stretch, and just shifting our weight can sometimes challenge our balance a little bit. So we'll move slowly and mindfully. We'll bring that left hand to the left hip. The right fingers will reach up and over to the side. I'll swivel so we've got another view, reaching up and over towards the left side, still keeping our strong base. Right knee pressing down, left foot pressing down. And then we'll sweep our left fingers back up to meet the right. We'll frame the front foot. We'll tuck our back toes under, and we'll take as many little hops as it takes to get that right foot back with the left, finding our forward fold. And then we'll come up to standing, fingers reaching to the sky. And we'll exhale, hands to heart center. We'll pause, big inhale here. Slow exhale here. And then we'll inhale, fingers to the sky. Exhaling to fold. Inhaling, halfway up, flat back. Exhaling, fingers plant, left foot steps all the way back. Left knee will lower down. Again, making sure our feet and knee are hip width distance apart. They're not in line with each other. Once we've found a good stable base here, we'll think about reaching fingers up to the sky, pressing through the right foot, pressing through the left knee and the left foot. Taking a couple breaths here. And then we'll find our side stretch again. The right hand will come to the right hip. The left fingers will reach up and over, pressing through that left knee. Noticing if the weight shift here challenges our balance in any way. And then we'll come back to center. We'll frame that front foot with the fingers, back toes, tuck under, back knee lifts. Back foot steps forward, forward fold. We'll press through the soles of the feet, and we'll come up to standing, fingers reaching to the sky. And then exhaling, hands to heart center. We'll pause, big inhale here. Slow exhale here. And we're going to add a little standing balance challenge. If you want to be near a wall to have some extra support, that's always a great option. If we want to go wall free, that's fabulous too. From here, we're going to try to pick up and spread the toes on that left foot and then put them back down. We're going to shift our weights into that left foot. We might have our arms out by our sides for balance or at our hips. And we'll think about picking the right heel up. Maybe coming onto the right tippy toes. Maybe picking right knee up, moving towards the chest. You probably won't reach your chest. Mine doesn't. And you're going to wobble a little bit as I just did. And that's totally cool. If we want a little extra challenge, we might reach fingers up to the sky. We'll think about pressing through that left foot as we reach through our fingertips here. If we lifted our arms, bringing them back down, and then gently lowering that right foot. We'll give that left foot a little shake out. We'll thank it for working hard for us. And then we'll move to second side. So picking up the right toes, spreading them, putting them back down, shifting weight into that right foot. Maybe we're just picking the left heel off the ground. Maybe we're keeping left tippy toes on the ground. Maybe we're rooting down through that right foot so that we can pick the left foot up off the ground to any degree. Maybe hands are at our hips or by our sides for balance. Maybe fingers are reaching straight up overhead, pressing through that right foot as we reach through our fingertips. Whenever we wobble, remembering that it is a-okay to wobble. If we lifted our hands, bringing them back down, lowering left foot, giving that right foot another little shake out, thanking the right foot for working hard for us. And then we are going to essentially repeat what we did before, but lifting it up off the ground. If you need to keep your knee on the ground for stability, that is totally fine. It's a great place to be working. If we're ready for that added challenge, we're going to lift that back knee off the ground. I'll guide us through it when we get there. All right, back at the front of the mat, if you wandered like I did, finding our good mountain pose, crown of the head, reaching tall, pressing through soles of the feet. On the inhale, we'll reach fingers straight up to the sky. On the exhale, folding forward, back rounds, head hangs. Inhaling, halfway up, flat back. Exhaling, right foot steps back. Here is where you could lower that knee if we want the stability, or we might keep it lifted. If our knee is lifted, we're going to check in with our feet. We're going to make sure that they are not in the same line, that you could take a little toy truck and it could run between your legs and it wouldn't have to wiggle at all. It's got a straight path through that will help us with stability. All right, from here, once we feel like we're balanced, we're going to soften the back knee as we come up to standing. We're going to think about pressing through the sole of the back foot, pressing through the sole of the front foot, fingers reaching to the sky. If you find that you are super wobbly here, you might take your feet a little wider. That'll give us a stronger base, or we might have them a little more in line with the hips if we're ready for that little extra balance challenge here. We might stay here if we want a little bit of a strength challenge and we're ready for that. We might think about gently lowering that right knee down and then coming back up. Again, lowering it down and coming up. And once more down and coming up. All right, from here, we're going to frame that front foot. Back foot is going to step forward, forward fold. On the next inhale, we'll root through the soles of the feet to come back up to standing, fingers to the sky. And we'll exhale, hands to heart center. We'll pause, big inhale here. Slow exhale here. And we'll do all of that second side. So when we're ready, inhaling, fingers to the sky. Exhaling to fold. Inhaling, halfway lift. Exhaling, left foot steps back. Options, knee on the ground, lots of stability. Or keeping that knee in the air. Checking in with our feet. Making sure they're about hip width distance apart, left and right. Finding our balance, softening the back knee as we come up to standing. Grounding through the front foot, pressing through the back foot, reaching with our fingers. Taking our feet out wider, left to right if we need a little more stability. Trying to remember to breathe when things are hard. Sometimes we forget to breathe. And then again, if we are up for adding a little extra strengthening, we might think about dropping left knee to the ground and then coming back up. Again, dropping the knee and coming up. And once more dropping. And once more up. Whew. And then we'll frame with our front foot. Back foot, we'll step forward, forward fold. On the next inhale, coming up to standing. Fingers reaching to the sky, and exhaling, hands to heart center. We'll take a moment just to settle in before we do one more little balance challenge. So we might have hands at heart center. We might have them resting by our sides. We'll just take a couple breaths here, slowing heart rate down. If that little strengthening, get your heart rate going a little fast. Maybe just checking in with your body. How are you feeling? If you're good for the day, you can stop. If you want a little more, I've got a little more for you. All right, when we're feeling ready, we are going to come into the very classic yoga pose of tree pose, and we have a lot of options here depending on where you're at. As always, you could be near a wall for a little moral support if you need it, or we could be away from the wall. All right, we are going to ground down through that left foot. We'll pick up all 5 toes, spreading them wide, and then putting them back down. We'll shift our weight into that left foot. And then, like I said, we've got options. We could have a very low tree where right toes are on the ground. Your right heel is sitting on the inside of your left lower shin or ankle. We could have a slightly higher tree where that right foot is resting on the inside of your left calf. Or we could have our highest tree right foot on the inside of that left thigh. Arms could stay at hips. Arms could come to heart center. Arms could be flailing to try to keep your balance. Arms could be reaching straight up to the sky. Whatever option you are at today is the perfect place to be. If you're wobbling, that's okay. Trees wobble in the breeze. If they didn't, they would snap. So it's always better to wobble. All right, wherever we are, maybe bringing hands back to heart center. Maybe bringing that knee forward and then lowering that right foot. We'll wiggle out those left toes, that left foot, as we get ready for a second side. So grounding down through the right foot, picking up all 5 toes on that foot, spreading them, and then putting them back down. Same options as the first side. We might have left toes on the ground, left heel on the inside of our right lower shin. We might move that foot up to the shin or the calf, or we might bring that foot all the way up to the inside of the right thigh. Each option is just as good as the others. Hand options at our hips, at heart center, flailing for dear life, or reaching up to the sky. Wherever we are, trying to remember to breathe, remembering to not take this too seriously. We're just practicing. And then maybe bringing hands back to heart center, bringing that knee forward, lowering that foot, wiggling out that right foot. And then finding a standing position, maybe keeping hands at heart center or hands by our sides. Either way is fine here. If it's comfortable, we'll close our eyes. We'll take one more minute just to check in with our bodies. How is our body feeling? Just like we did at the start of class, just noticing what we feel for physical sensations. Our breath, our heartbeat that might be beating a little faster after tree pose. Our skin, our clothing on our skin, the air on our skin, our feet on the floor. And then we'll take a moment to express a little gratitude for having bodies that can wobble in balancing poses and that have the ability to be here and challenge ourselves. Thank you very much for sharing our mini practice with me today. Namaste. Thank you for coming. I hope to see you soon.